welcome to Attainable Green. I'm Jess, and today we're going to be talking about Miltoniopsis. I'm going to share with you how I deal with orange rot and how to take care of the plant after it blooms. Now, before we begin, I want to share with you one of the blooms that I got from my Miltoniopsis santanaei. This is a species that's known to be warmth tolerant, and that is very true because this plant has bloomed in the middle of August. It's been in bloom for about 3 weeks now, and we've been having temperatures in the 80s and 90s during this crazy heat wave here in Southern California. The bloom still looks great, and the plant itself is doing fantastic. Surprisingly, this plant is on a mount. So there is a cedar plank behind it, a little bit of sphagnum moss, and then the plant. So I definitely am watering this one every day to make sure that it stays hydrated and that it just looks its best. So I am very impressed with this Miltoniopsis santanaei because I've been able to get this one to bloom. And even though there's only one flower, I know that as this one ages and matures, it will definitely develop more flowers in the future. So switching gears from my awesome bloom to a little bit of a problem. My Miltoniopsis pink lemonade has developed orange rot. Now, this isn't a scientific term. They don't really have a name for it, but I think usually this occurs when the plant gets overwatered and the media has started to break down. And so a lot of mold and bacteria has started to form near the base of the pseudobulb, and an infection occurs, causing this orange rot. So I have to do an emergency repot to remove these 2 orange bulbs and hopefully check to see if the root system is still intact, and we'll go from there. So after unpotting this plant, I definitely see that the placement of these 2 bulbs is going to cause a division in this plant. So we're going to have multiple segments of this plant by the end. As you can tell, the bulb itself looks still pretty firm. But there is a little bit of white spotting and speckling towards the end, which indicates either fungal spores or mold. Also along the rhizome, there is a little bit of white mold accumulating, so that is definitely something we need to take care of quickly. So I had to cut out and remove the infected portion of the plant, which is these 2 pseudobulbs and part of the rhizome. There is a couple of dead roots, so I just trimmed those back, and then we're just left with the 3 remaining pieces. So each division has 1 new growth and a couple of roots with some growing tips. So I know that these ones will pretty much be okay, but I still have to watch out because I haven't had the best luck repotting this particular Miltoniopsis. The new media will be seedling bark with some perlite. So the ratio will be about 3 parts bark to 1 part perlite. And I'm hoping that this mix will allow the plant to stay in the pot longer without the need to repot. So with each section of the plant, I'm going to combine it together and put it in the smallest pot that I can find that fits the roots and a little bit of media. I tend to be a heavy waterer, so if I have a big pot, it's going to get too waterlogged and it's just not going to do well. So I'm just going to put the plant in and make sure each of the new growths are facing outward from the center, and place it in the center of the pot, and then put the bark media all around it. I just want to make sure that I tap it firmly so that there are no air pockets, and I just want to make sure that the plant feels secure. After that, I'm going to leave it alone for about a week or so just to let the plant acclimate and adjust to its new setup. I don't need to water this plant since I already watered it and rinsed it off during this whole cleaning up process, and it should be fine. It's going to be an area outdoors, so it still has high humidity, so I don't have to worry about it losing too much moisture at this point in time. This pink lemonade has been with me since I first started this channel, and I've had it for about almost 4 years now, and it's been through a lot. And the fact that it is still alive is kind of a testament to how hardy plants are and how hardy orchids are, because I've definitely made a lot of mistakes with this one. And this one hasn't fully recovered yet. It's still kind of an ongoing recovery process. Hopefully this new setup will allow the new roots to establish itself, and then we'll check back probably later in the year to see how it's doing. So switching gears once more, I want to share with you my Miltoniopsis Hajime Ono. Now, I got this plant last year and it came with about 4 to 5 spikes and it had a great show. This year, the plant decided that it wanted to bloom in the middle of summer, which is right now. It's been so hot that the blooms didn't last as long and it wasn't a great show, even though it was its best blooming season yet. This plant has 6 spikes on about 6 pseudobulbs, and each spike had about 3 to 4 flowers. So it's not the best that it can do, but it definitely was more than I even anticipated. So because of the heat wave, this plant dried out really quickly, and so I had a problem trying to keep it well hydrated. Not only that, with the high heat and low humidity, it just really dried out the flowers. So the show wasn't as great. Some of the flowers didn't open up fully, or they were smaller than expected. And in some cases, the flowers didn't even open up all the way before it started to fade. And since we're still in the middle of the heat wave and the temperatures haven't been cooling down at all, I'm going to just cut off all the spikes and then hope this plant pushes some vegetative growth so that it can just be prepared for next blooming season. A couple of the leaves have a little bit of spotting, and that is due to a fungal infection. Now, this isn't serious, it's more cosmetic in this particular case, because I noticed that it just gets a few specks here and there, and it doesn't really take down the leaf or travel to other areas of the plant. So I just trim off any of the unsightly spots, and then the plant is good to go. So overall, the Hajime Ono is still doing well. The bulbs still look pretty healthy, and they're about the same size as the previous ones. So I know that I'm kind of on the right track taking care of this particular plant. So that is what my Miltoniopsis are doing this summer season. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Attainable Green, to follow along on my orchid journey. I hope you all are staying safe and staying cool, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!